Phos would not be who they are without their loneliness. Phos spent all their time on Earth and on the moon alone. They were surrounded by gems, they were surrounded by Lunarians, but they were not surrounded by friends. They were surrounded by people who brought terror to their existence, because their trust for their peers were broken and taken away. Trusting no one leads to a lonely life. A lonely life leads to insecurity. And insecurity leads to disastrous actions to restore safety. Phos's avoidance of building close bonds destroys them, and led them to a strong desire to give up, all for the validation of those who could care less for their suffering. Phos believes they must investigate Congo's secret alone. Phos believes they must go to the moon alone. Phos believes they must plan to restore conflict alone. Phos believes they must do everything alone. Phos believes they are alone. But through, apparently Pitapat is his name, I've been calling him Brongo, and the Pebbles, Phos needs to trust others in order to carry on. The conversations in 106 is Pitapat begging Phos to continue on. It's the first time a character in this entire series has ever put Phos above their actions. It's the first time a character has seen Phos as a person, as someone who deserves to live, rather than as a utility for what they give. It's the first time Phos can trust someone to look out for their best interest. And Phos refuses. Phos refuses to go with the Pebbles. Phos refuses to take Pitapat up on his offer and come with them. Phos refuses to put their happiness over others. Phos refuses to find safety. Phos chooses loneliness. Pitapat explains that Acmea, Congo, and Ayumu must have come together and made this ship for Phos to be able to escape and live on. And Phos comes back with the argument that even though they have good intentions, the desire to improve, the desire to hone their skills, all those things are what led the Lunarians to such a miserable life. And Phos believes that if they continue on with the Pebbles, that the same thing will happen to them. But not only that, but that their human influence, that human desire that they possess, will reflect badly on the Pebbles and lead them to that same unsatisfaction in life that we've seen Phos go through throughout the entire series. Phos only sees their value as their utility to others. Phos said that they want to be perfect, they want to be accomplished, they want to be complete. That was all said in one word in Japanese, and that sentence was present tense. Phos doesn't think they can be perfect or accomplished or complete without erasing their existence to burn the bridge that Ayumu, Congo, and Acmea set them out to do. Phos owes their perfection, their accomplishments, and their completeness to this task because this is the most important task they've ever been given, and they don't want to screw it up. They believe without the completion of this task, their life has no meaning. They'll be worthless again. The initial premise of the series was Phos trying to find a job, and the ending premise of the series is Phos finding worth in themselves without a job. But they couldn't do it alone. They physically couldn't. Phos's resolve to stay back and die was put above anything else. Even throughout the span of time that Phos has spent with Pitapat and the Pebbles, their ideology couldn't be changed. Even though they realized certain things about humanity, even though they were able to see a good in themselves, and then the Pebbles, they could not bring themselves to not finish the task they had been assigned. Because their value and worth as a person, is tied to their value of what they give to the society and not tied to them. They believe they don't have worth without this job. The people they're serving are long dead, but that doesn't stop them from constantly seeking their validation even after they're gone. Phos was sent to burn the bridge between inorganic life and humans, but the reason that Phos is still the link between those two worlds is because they can't let go of their desire to serve humans that are long gone. It's by giving up that human desire, it's by giving up that desire of perfection, accomplishment, and completion that Phos is able to carry on as a rock. But Phos wasn't able to do that by themselves. They weren't able to take that piece of part of them. They weren't able to separate their identity from their humanness. But Pitapat was. Pitapat is the first character that Phos trusts in this entire series. Phos didn't trust Congo. Phos didn't trust Ghost. Phos didn't trust Cinnabar. Phos didn't trust Cairngorm. Acmea had to break Phos's trust in all of their peers in order for them to complete this task. And now Phos cannot rebuild that trust alone. Which is why the Pebbles and Pitapat are the ones who take initiative in separating Phosphophyllite from the human. And Phos, the human, finally says, I trust you. Phos places their existence in their hands and trusts them in creating a secure environment for Phos, which they've never had. Phos shows loneliness again in this chapter. But the difference is Phos was finally surrounded by friends, and those friends valued Phos more as a person rather than for the utility they bring. They stripped away all of the materials that Phos had gained to be useful to the people that they wanted validation from. But the Pebbles rejected all of that. The Pebbles didn't want that. They just wanted Phosphophyllite. That's such a beautiful, visual representation of the mental strain that Phos has been through and the completion of the arc. Ichikawa is a genius, man. It's so good. I love it. I also just want to thank you for watching this video, and thank you to all of you who've subscribed. I can't believe I made it to 1,000 subscribers, so that's really cool. I will continue making Houseki No Kuni videos thanks to your support, and I just appreciate the time that you take to watch my videos and engage with them in the comments and like them, or whatever you do. Now, some of you might be yelling at me that Phos did have the ability to build close relationships, like Cairngorm, Padparaja, all the characters who came with Phos to the moon. Weren't those trusting relationships, or at least trusted enough to help with the invasion? Yes, Phos's trust with the Earth gems was literally shattered, but weren't the moon gems still on Phos's side? And to that I say, one, Acmea, just in general. He's the one who broke Cairngorm, and specifically, I think Cairngorm and Padparaja, the two characters who were probably the closest, who could possibly build a stronger bond with Phos, the ones that Phos trusted the most, but Phos didn't trust that much people in general. Those two characters, Acmea purposefully made it so that they couldn't develop a deeper bond with one another. By dating Cairngorm and then not reviving Padparaja until it was needed, And I feel like Acmea not butting in for all of other Phos's relationships should tell you how much those relationships did not hold any trust. All the previous relationships that Phos had were based on utility. Again, with Phos's value being in their usefulness, and all the other characters believe that too. They believe their value is also in their usefulness. That's why Daya comes to help Phos, because Phos brought them to the moon. It's not because they're great friends, it's not because they trust each other, it's because they had a utility, and it's sort of like a business relationship is kind of what it's like. Their trust is only built on past goodwill and past good experiences and past utility. It's not based on them as a person. Cairngorm and Padparaja were the closest to being there with Phos, but Acmea got in the way of that. Phos has never had a good trusting relationship, and Phos has continually said throughout the series that they must do it alone. They have to do it alone. They can't get anyone else involved, even though they got Cairngorm a bit involved. It was Phos alone who went to the moon. It just shows that Phos didn't have enough trust to have someone come with them, and the person that they did trust didn't want to betray them. So it's Phos has not had a good thing with trust, but at the end of 106, we finally get to see them trust someone, and that's so great. So I challenge you to trust more people in your life. Do not choose loneliness. Choose to trust others, open up to other people, and build closer bonds and build a better support system so that you can have that security in your life, that you have people around you who value you for you and not for your utility. Thank you.